Thank you, Kamchemenza, for that report. We still have more details on education matters, but before we embark on that, our reporter Purity Museo is checking out on matters health days after the Kenya National Union of Nurses announced its strike, and now our reporter is engaging the Secretary General Seth Panyako to give us more details on regards to health matters. Engaging the Secretary General Panyako to give us more details on health matters.
Good afternoon to you, Uchuma. We are coming to you live from Uchumi House, and this is the headquarters for the Kenya National Union of Nurses. Just to speak with the nurses regarding their strike, it's almost a month since they downed their tools, and of course, we are here to understand some of their demands, because we saw on the 24th of December last year, doctors calling off their strike, and on the first of the very first of this year, 2021, also clinical officers called off their strike. But the SG came out strongly to say they are not going to down their tools unless their demands are met. And even as we look forward to having children go back to school, they need services of the nurses. So let's just get to understand the status, if there are any talks going on currently. Are we expecting any time soon for nurses to call off their strike or not? Let's now speak with the SG, the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako, to tell us whether there are talks to ending this strike, or how long are they going to continue staying off duty. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this afternoon. Maybe Happy New Year first. And yes, and we saw that on the first, clinical officers said it's high time they gave Kenyans a good year by ending their strike, but you came out saying you are not going to end your strike unless your demands are met. It's the first weekend and children are going back to school. What is your stand right now? And if there are any talks going on, how far are you with ending this stalemate?
Thank you very much, Purity. First of all, I want to say that beginning industrial actions and ending industrial actions cannot be given to anybody. Anytime health work is not on duty, especially nurses, doctors, clinical officers, and medical laboratory, it costs somebody's life somewhere else. So it can never be a gift to anybody. That must be known from the word go. So the reasons why we went out should be addressed before you go back to work, because if we don't do that, we'll be going back to work, and then after 1 to 3 months, we'll also be wanting to go out again. And this is not health for this country. It's not even health for the economic growth of this country. It's not even good for political stability as well as social welfare of the entire nation. Therefore, I want to say that as far as the talks are concerned, we are engaging with the government. We are even right now engaging the government. A few minutes ago, I've been online with the PS level. I'm speaking with various people within government. We took our proposed return to work agreement to the government this morning, all relevant officers of the government this morning. And we were telling them that because of the talks I had last week on first with His Excellency Governor Wycliffe Ambeza of Paranya, and where we discussed the issues that made us go out, and there was a serious understanding, and he actually was able to understand where we're coming from as a profession. Also, it was a follow-up on the statement that was issued by the Cabinet Secretary for Health on Friday, when he was calling off the strike for clinical officers, where he came out very clearly for the first time and said that he recognizes roles played by both nurses and other healthcare workers within the healthcare system, and not the way it is and the way it is perceived. It's not even perceived. It's known that the health ministry is skewed toward favoring only one quarter. And after saying that, we realized that now genuine talks, doors for genuine talks are now opening, and that's why we are ready for genuine talks. We do not want, and I want to repeat it, we will not be signing a cosmetic return to work agreement. We want issues that were raised by the nurses to be addressed to the level of satisfaction.
And when doctors were calling off the strike, and even clinical officers, there was a promise from the Minister of Health that their issues will be addressed, but they need to call off the strike considering the crisis that the country is dealing with, the world, the COVID-19 pandemic. Are you ready to go back to work if the employer promises to look into your issues moving forward? Or what exactly do you want first addressed before you can call your members to return to work?
You see, there are cardinal issues that must be addressed, and the employer should have a prospective agreement, an agreement that when our members look at it, they feel like indeed we have done a proper representation. For example, we have now an increase of 500% in risk allowance for clinical officers. We don't expect anything below that. We expect the risk allowance for nurses to be increased by 500% to make it 19,250. That's the minimum that we can accept. It should be more than that because of reasons which I may not be able to explain right now. We also want the completion of the collective bargaining agreement. And of crucial is the issue of compensation of the families, relatives, and dependents of the nurses who have succumbed to COVID-19 and other ailments and even accidents. We have had a nurse who died through a road accident in Mumias, Matungu. And because we do not have the comprehensive group life insurance in place right now, we want a commitment from the two levels of government that those nurses who have succumbed already to COVID-19 and other ailments, including accidents, as I've told you, I've lost one nurse through accidents, will be compensated by respective county governments. I do appreciate that some governments already have group life insurance, like Kakamega, it does have. When I spoke with the governor of Paranya, he actually informed me that he was paying us to level of 48 million, I think, per month for the group life insurance, and therefore most of the counties or some of them have already put in place group life insurance. So it will not be a problem for them to effect payment and compensation of the families left behind. But there are those who do not have in place. Those who do not have and are waiting for the operationalization of the one which is coming will have to find funds from their own budgets to clear and actually compensate these families, because you know insurance policies do not operate retrospectively, they all operate prospectively. So there is no way we'll say that we will wait for comprehensive group life insurance to be operationalized and then our colleagues who have succumbed to their families will be compensated. It will not happen. The same applies to even that is those who have already succumbed and even those who might succumb before the comprehensive group life insurance comes in place, because as we are talking now, it is not in place. Okay. Another thing is the issue of payment of medical bills for our colleagues who went to hospital and they paid their bill from their own pocket. We want a commitment from the government that now the two levels of government will clear those bills. Of course, there are certain things that will be required. For example, if we are treated in a private hospital, it is required that we must have been referred from a public hospital. So if that process was followed, then the money that was spent in those private hospitals, there should be a commitment from the government that they will pay those bills. We are not saying pay those bills right now, but there must be a clear commitment, because the process of payment of those money, it can even take a year. Follow, you know, the government, the process of government through. So it's not something that you approve today and then you pay tomorrow. But we are saying there must be a commitment that money will be paid. So then
that commitment, okay, you have another demand?
I have every reason that commitment will be done by the government. I've been speaking the officer. I was with the governor first of this year, and we spent more than 5 hours with the governor. Of course, after finishing discussing these issues of the strike, we discussed our own issues of home and welcoming the new year. So we have another very crucial issue, that the nurses who are on contracts are being paid salary, peanuts between 10,000 and 40,000. When you compare the colleagues, we will use Dr. Mogusu's payslip. You saw it on TV. Dr. Mokusu was supposed to earn salary equivalent to a doctor, an MO. But for the nurses, they are being paid not according to their salary. Dr. Mokusu was to get full salary plus allowances. But for the nurses, they are paid between 10 and 15,000. So we are saying, under the principles of work of equal value, should attract equal remuneration, we want these nurses a commitment from the two levels of government. Of course, this is an issue that will be made by employer. Like the UHC nurses, we are going to deal with the Public Service Commission. The other contracts will deal with specific employers within government. Those are the counties. They must pay them equal amount to those like those in PNP.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I have to cut you short, Sam.
For the Kenya Nurses Union, and she's talking to Seth Panyako, the Secretary General, in regards to health matters. Remember, the clinical officers and the doctors were also on strike, and the nurses' strike is now closing to a month, and Purity will be bringing us up to speed with the latest developments from that end in our subsequent bulletin.